Hi everyone, in this video we'll be talking about arrays. An array is a variable that can store multiple values of same data type. Let's get familiar with each term in this definition. At first, an array is a variable. Well, a variable is something that is capable of storing certain values. It's just like a container or buckets that we use at our homes to store things. But array is slightly different from the normal variable. A normal variable can only have a single value at a time, but array as a variable can have multiple values at a time. And the next term here in the definition is same data type. A data type is a term that is used to define a variable. For example, the data can be of integer type, it can be of float type and character types. So there are a lot of data type defined in C. Let's make this a bit clear with a simple example. Here you can see a bucket that contains all the values of integer type, and the next bucket here contains all the values of character type, and the last bucket here contains the values of integer type with float type and character type. So these two buckets here contains multiple values of same data type. Here this first bucket contains all the values of integer type, so this can be taken as an array, and the next bucket here contains multiple values which are of character types, so this can also be taken as an array. But the last bucket here contains all the values or the multiple values of different data types, so this is not an array. You should always keep in your mind that the data types of the values should always be same if you are dealing with an array. So this is a brief about what an array is. Now let's see the type of an array in C. There are basically two types of arrays in C, one-dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. As the word itself says one-dimensional, then it will simply have single-dimensional. So let's see how a one-dimensional array looks like. It will simply have a single row with multiple columns. Here this letters are numbers are known as index. We'll be talking about this later. But for now, just keep in your mind how the single dimensional array looks like. Now let's see how a multi-dimensional array looks like. It will simply have multiple rows with multiple columns. We'll be talking about these two types of arrays in detail. For now, in this video, we'll only be talking about one-dimensional array. Now let's see how we can declare a one-dimensional array. At first, we will simply write the data type, and then we'll write the name of an array, and inside the big brackets we'll place the size of an array, and at last we'll place a semicolon. So this is how an array is declared. Now let's see an example. Here I've created an array called num, which is of integer type. The size of an array here is 5, so it will store all the values of integer type. 5 values that are of integer type. Now let's see how we can initialize an array. We can simply initialize the array element by placing the curly brackets, and we'll place all the elements inside it. So all the elements here will be separated by the commas. So this is how we can initialize an array. We'll place the data type at first, we'll write the name of an array, and then we'll declare the size of it, and all the elements will be placed inside the curly braces, and the elements will be separated by the comma. So this is how we can initialize an array. Now let's see how we can access the elements inside the array. While accessing an elements, the term indexing gets defined here. It always starts from 0. Now let's see the same array here as an example. I've represented it in a block form. The same elements of the array called num are placed here. So indexing will always start from 0. So this is how we can access the elements of an array. We'll simply write the name of an array, and inside the big brackets we'll place the indexes. So this is how we can access the elements inside the array. Now let's see a problem related to array. that is all about sorting the elements of an array in ascending order. So this is how our array looks like. It contains the 5 integer values. So we have to sort this all elements in an ascending order. So this is how our output will look like. So the smallest terms should be placed at first, and all the largest terms should be placed next to each other. So it should simply go on increasing way. So think about the problem. In case if you could not solve this, then in the next video we'll be discussing about it. Till then, keep watching. Thank you.